Welcome, I'm Corey Kell, creator of FlatEarthIntel.com, and today we're going to talk about the Sun and the Earth's elliptic problem. In other words, the elliptic orbital ring, which is the ring of fail. It's a huge problem for the heliocentric model. The definition of the elliptic or the elliptical orbit for the heliocentric model is in an oval-shaped path like a slightly elongated circle. This is due to the gravitational interactions among the Sun, the planet, and other celestial bodies that move in elliptical paths in the heliocentric model. Heliocentric or globe model, that's what we're talking about. This right here gives us a little bit better idea about the heliocentric globe model. And these are the positions of the Earth as it orbits around the Sun. A lot of moving pieces within the heliocentric model. The problem, and I think it was identified real early on, especially with saying that the Sun's distance is at great distances, is that the Sun to Earth relationship, or its position, the Sun being 90 degrees, is a huge problem for that model, the heliocentric globe model, because once you do that, you have a very clean angle, and you can get a surveyed triangle. In other words, you can shoot angles above, below, and right at the Sun, putting it within a surveyed triangle from a measuring instrument that measures angles or height. Again, that's a huge problem. I think that's something that Copernicus identified early on when he was first looking into this model and developing it. As I said, the Earth's elliptical orbital ring. One thing that they don't mention about, and there's a lot of moving pieces as the Earth orbits around the Sun in that heliocentric model. One thing that they don't identify or they don't talk about, and I think they purposely avoid talking about, is the Sun's at 90 degrees. And again, that's a huge problem for this model. And especially when you talk about distances, said distances for that model, the Sun being between 91 and 94 million miles. Again, because these surveyed triangles measurement, because the Sun's at 90 degrees, you can put that Sun very close. And I know the globalists will talk about, well, we use size ratios and equations. Well, right triangles will break through that. In other words, right triangles will verify, even if you're using equation, if that said distance is correct based on that object's size at its said distance. So that's a huge problem for that model, and it shows the major failure in that. The elliptic failure is the major failure in the heliocentric model. Huge model. And here we see some of the information on the globe model. The Earth orbits the Sun at average speeds of 67,000 miles per hour. Solar system going through the universe at 514,000 miles an hour. Earth's rotational speed at the equator is 1,000 miles. So lots of moving pieces, and I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors is what it really is. Again, when we talk about the ring of fail, it's masking the fundamental flaw by the globe model, the creation of elliptical orbit, and the tilt. Again, just kind of tries to guide you away from that angle, that direct angle of 90 degrees, which is a huge problem for it. So if you have a lot of moving pieces, people tend to lose focus on that. Earth spin, the failure in elliptical in orbital mechanics. Again, another problem. If your Sun's too high in the sky, and it's been tested on both sides of terrestrial Earth, it is too high in the sky, especially in the northern hemisphere, then your model goes into orbital mechanical failure. In other words, the Sun's in the wrong position in the sky, and that's another huge problem. This would place the Sun locally or very close, between 3,000 and 4,000 miles from Earth's surface. Multiple orbital rotations, again, as I talked about, smoke and mirrors effect in complexity. I think it's purposely made complex to kind of guide people or direct people away from that. Again, the major problem, identifying the Sun at 90 degrees, geometry and triangulation. Right triangles gives correct visual perspective issues. In other words, the Sun is very close and very local. distance and size. It's really the heliocentric globe model is really a waste of space and a very inefficient model. Triangulation, again, very simple. Why it works: hypotenuse, measuring that angle to the sun from the Earth's surface. And again, this is what we talk about when we talk about the surveyed triangle and the sun plot, or the sun to Earth 90-degree position on the surface of the Earth, whether you believe the Earth is flat or a curved surface. And again, this puts the sun very locally, very close. Distances, as I said, between 3,000 to 4,000 miles from Earth's surface. Sun's diameter roughly between 50 to 60 miles in diameter. Again, huge problem for the heliocentric globe model. Again, when we talk about failure in orbital mechanics, and this again we have the orbital elliptical ring, and here we have our orbital failure when we did Operation Resolute Time. This area here is complete orbital mechanical failure. In other words, the Sun to Earth relationship is out of position, the Sun being too high in the sky in this complete area of the elliptic, which again creates another huge problem for that model, and it's as a result it's an orbital mechanic failure. Again, just identified by the red areas. And when we talk about orbital mechanical failures, the sun over 51 degrees, 50 degrees here, and then as we get into August, 46.5 degrees. Again, huge problems. There may be other projected orbital mechanic failures in the south, something that hasn't been tested yet. But even if it did pass in the south, it's major failure up in the northern hemisphere on this side here in the elliptic. And again, just a complete failure for the globe model. As I said very early on when I talked about the sun, if you take the sun for your model, you take it all in the cosmology game. There's no spin, no spear, no space, vast distances. What you're left with is a flat Earth model, very local sun and moon, which has a firmament over the flat Earth model with wandering stars, and a rotating sky above with an electrostatic gravity field system. Again, the complete model, the complete flat Earth model. I'm Corey Kell. This concludes this presentation on the elliptic and the problem with the globe model's elliptical orbital ring. Thanks for watching.